Good morning, students. Welcome back to the second week of history classes. Few instructions. Along with this video, you'll also find the notes and the points of the chapter. As I said earlier in the class itself, I want you to write the points of each chapter. Notes, you can save them in digital format or you can take the prints. In case if you have not written the points of the previous chapter, you can request me personally. But I want all of you to write the points of all the chapters of history and as well as civics. Secondly, in case if you have any queries, any issues relating to the video or the presentation, or if you have any doubts with regard to the chapter, you are free to ask. Don't hesitate, you can freely personally you can ask me the doubts related to the chapter, or in case if you want to give any feedback to my presentation, you are welcome to do so. In the last chapter we discussed about Harappan civilization. Harappan civilizations, there are reasons for their decline. We discussed in the last part of the chapter: aridity, deforestation, floods, earthquake, attacks of invaders. Some say it was Aryans. So there are various reasons for their sudden decline. After the decline of Harappan civilization, some historians say the people moved away from the region and migrated towards Indian subcontinent, and they began their own civilization and they call it as a Vedic civilization. But some historians say no, the Aryans were entirely a new tribe, migrated all the way from Caspian Sea region. But some other historians believe that, especially the Orthodox, believe that Aryans are the indigenous people. They are truly Indian. So there are lots of controversies related to the origin of the Aryans. So let's discuss in detail about all about the Vedic period, their sources, the lifestyle, and the impact they had on Indian history. So Vedic period refers to the period when Aryans settled in India. So that's called Vedic period. So why Vedic? Vedic is derived from Vedas. Vedas are the 4 important books that lays foundation for Indian culture, Indian philosophy. So Vedas is derived from the word vid. Vid means to know or knowledge. Vidya means the same. So chronologically, it is divided into 2 periods: early Vedic period and later Vedic period. And throughout the chapter, if you want to understand the chapter better, it's always good to compare the early and the later Vedic period. You'll have a better understanding of the chapter, because the whole of the chapter deals with what was early and what happened later, the changes. So if you study keeping that in mind, it will be very, very helpful. So as I said, chronologically it is divided into 2 parts. Early Vedic period, roughly around 1500 to 1000 BCE, mainly which developed on the banks of river Saraswati, or the regions found in Punjab and Haryana. Then later Vedic period, roughly 1000 to 500 BCE, found or developed on the banks of river Ganga or Yamuna, or the Gangetic basin or Gangetic valley. The culture of the period is called Vedic culture. So everything is related to Vedas. So coming to the important part, the sources. Sources in every chapter, as I said in the beginning itself, is most important. You can definitely expect a question on sources. So it is broadly divided into 2: literary sources and archaeological sources. So there are lots of literary sources that give information about the Vedic culture, Vedic period, or Aryans, and there are also archaeological sources. So coming to literary sources, literary sources divided into 2 parts: Shruti and Smriti. Vedas, often called a Paurusheya text Apaurushaya, written not by human beings, written by God. The reason is logically speaking, then there was no script. So the knowledge was transferred orally from the rishis to the disciples for generation, for centuries. So that's why it's called Shruti, and some say Apaurushaya. That's the reason. So Shruti means that which is heard, revealed by gods to the sages, and which was transferred to the disciples. Then once the script was found, so they started to compose and compile it. That's why it is called Smriti, that which is memorized and composed by rishis. So chronologically, as I said, so it's divided into two parts: early Vedic period, early Vedic text, and a later Vedic text. So only Rig Veda is said to be the early Vedic text. Rest all the other Vedas and the allied Vedas and the branches or the commentaries like Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads, including the epics, were all composed in the later Vedic text. So once again, the classification of Vedas. So there are altogether both belonging to early and later together. So we have 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. Then there are commentaries for each Veda: Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads. Then there are allied Vedas, then the epics. So coming to Vedas, the first Veda belongs to the early Vedic period is Rig Veda. So Rig Veda is nothing but knowledge of hymns of praise. Hymns means devotional songs. So Rig Veda is considered as the oldest religious text. So often it is called the first testament of mankind. So it is divided into 10 mandalas, 10 parts. So mainly consists, as I said, hymns of praise, songs of praise, mainly sung by or recited by the sages towards gods, especially the nature gods, Indra, Vayu, Rudra, and so on. They're all in praise of those gods. So it was passed orally from the rishis or sages to the disciples. So Rig Veda has almost 1028 hymns. So as a source, Rig Veda provides a lot of information about the people, and it provides base for Indian philosophy. All the rest of the Vedas, the 3 other Vedas, the branches of Vedas, the Upavedas or Vedangas, all find foundation in Rig Veda. The famous Gayatri mantra, which we recite early in the morning, is found in Rig Veda. The second Veda is Sama Veda. Sama Veda refers to knowledge of the melodies, because Sama means sweet song or the melody. So again, as I said, Rig Veda provides foundation for all the other Vedas. So hymns have been borrowed from Rig Veda. So it consists of hymns to be sung, especially during sacrifices offered by the priests. The third Veda is Yajur Veda. So means knowledge of sacrificial formulas. It consists hymns recited during yajnas. It throws light on social and religious life of Aryans. And then we have Atharva Veda. So this mainly means knowledge of magic formulas. It has charms, magical formulas, and so on. Means dealing with especially magic and charm. Again, taken from Rig Veda. Apart from this, it also deals with Jnana, knowledge, karma, action, and upasana, invocation. So it also provides information about treating the diseases. So provides medicine for various diseases. So apart from 4 Vedas, the later Vedic period also has few commentaries on each Veda. So there are three of them: Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishad. We can call also as the branches of Vedas, Brahmanas. So this mainly explains the social and religious importance of rituals. It's written in prose since it is a commentary. And each Veda has several Brahmanas. Second, Aranyakas, second branch. So Aranya means forest. So it's a forest book. So it's a guide to the hermits or sages and their disciples who live in forest, how to lead a life in the forest. It contains mysticism and philosophy. The third is Upanishads. Upanishad, sitting under the feet of the Guru. Listening to him, in other words, listening to the Guru. So these are the philosophical text commentaries on the Vedas. So Indian philosophy mainly based on Upanishad. So the doctrines of karma, the moksha, maya, etc. are all found in Upanishad. So once again, so when we classify Vedas, chronologically we classify into two. There's early Vedic text and later Vedic text. In early Vedic text you find only Rig Veda, and rest all we find belongs to the later Vedic text. So there are four Vedas: Rig Veda, knowledge of hymns of praise; Sama Veda, knowledge of melodies; Yajur Veda, knowledge of sacrificial formulas; Atharva Veda, knowledge of magic formulas. Then we have commentaries on each Veda. Brahmanas, that gives importance of rituals and sacrifices. Aranyakas, a guidebook for hermits and students who live in forest. Upanishad mainly deals with the philosophy. Apart from the four main Vedas and branches, there are allied Vedic literature. So let's see some of them in a nutshell. So there are Vedangas, 6 Vedangas. So Vedanga is nothing but how to chant the Vedas. So there are 6 of them. Pronunciation. So I have not given the Sanskrit term. So I have given mentioned in English. First one is pronunciation, how to chant, how to rightly pronounce the words. The rituals, when and where. Etymology means the root, because without the root of each word it's difficult to understand its meaning. So etymology is very, very important. Metrics, prosody or chandasu or chandas. And then astronomy, especially Jyotisha. So when the right time to recite each of them. Then grammar. So these are the 6 Vedangas. Second, the sutras, means the rules. So there are 3 groups: Shrauta Sutra, so rules related to yajnas and sacrifices; Grahya Sutra, rules related to family life; and Dharma Sutra, so rules related to the various classes of people and the various stages. Classes mean the division: Kshatriyas, Shudras, Vaishyas, Brahmanas, and so on, or the 4 stages, Grihastha, the 4 ashramas. So the rules related to classes and the stages are found in Dharma Sutra. The third is Upavedas, the subsidiary Vedas. So there are 4 in number. One is Ayurveda, so most of you know it, is related to medicine. Dhanurveda, related to war. Gandharva Veda, related to music or aesthetics. And then the 4th one is Shilpa Veda. Shilpa means architecture. So this is related to knowledge of art and architecture. So these are the 4 Upavedas. So we have the 4th one, Darshanas. So it mainly deals with philosophy. So there are 6 schools of Indian philosophy. Each is very interesting. I was fortunate to study these during my college days. So there's Nyaya school of philosophy, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. Especially Sankhya school mainly deals with the origin of universe according to Hinduism. Interestingly, it says about atoms. So the world was created by atoms. So very interesting. You will not find it in other religion. Then we have Dharma Shastras. So it's nothing but combination of Dharma Sutras and Smritis, Manusmriti. So it consists of duties of different classes. As I said, Brahmanas. What are the duties of Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya, Shudras, as well as kings and their officials. Then Smritis. Smriti mainly deals with the code of law. So of each Varna and Ashramas. The last is Ashtadhyayi. So it's a treatise on grammar, so written or composed by Panini. So grammar mainly deals with the roots of words and the context in which they are used. So these are the text, and then we have the great two epics, Indian epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. They also are part of Vedic literature belonging to later Vedic period. So first one is Ramayana. So I need not say anything about it because you know better than me about Ramayana and Mahabharata. So Ramayana, both are written in Sanskrit. So Ramayana is composed by Valmiki. So the story in a nutshell is about Rama and Sita and its abduction of Sita by Ravana and the battle and rescue of Sita. So Dasharatha, the father of Rama, had 3 wives. So Kaushalya, who gave birth to Rama, Kaikeyi, who gave birth to Bharata, and Sumitra, who gave birth to Lakshmana and Shatrughna. I don't want to go to the story part of Ramayana, so it's good, but I encourage all of you to go if you don't know the story, go to internet. Since you are free these days, it's better to know about our great epics. Overall, it highlights the duty, devotion and love shown by brothers among each other. Then we have the great Mahabharata. So another great epic, again written in Sanskrit by Vyasa. So it is battle between the cousins, the Kauravas and Pandavas. So it highlights about duty, detachment, and so on. Especially Bhagavad Gita, a part of Mahabharata, deals with philosophy, conflict with the self and duty, then immortality of the soul, and so on. Again, I am not going to the details of Mahabharata, so that's your duty to find out what happened both in Ramayana and Mahabharata. So coming to importance of epics, why they are important. As a source, it provides lots of information. It provides information on the political institutions, the social and cultural organization prevalent during those days. It provides information about various Aryan kingdoms, the armies, the weapons they used, and about Kshatriyas, their lifestyle. And so it's considered one of the finest literary works of philosophical values. It also reveals high ideals of family life of Aryans. The great heroes like Rama, Lakshmana, and Arjuna of Pandavas so have had impact on successive generation even today. The Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the most important part in Mahabharata, elaborates karma philosophy, immortality of the soul. So just to revise, so till now we discussed about the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda, the commentaries, the Brahmanas, Aranyakas and Upanishads. Then we moved on to allied Vedas, Vedangas, 6 of them, that is how to recite the Veda rightly. Then the Sutras, 3 of them, the Upavedas, subsidiary Vedas, the Darshanas, the 6th school of Indian philosophy, Dharma Shastras and the Ashtadhyayi. And last we discussed about Ramayana and Mahabharata.